Japanese student Ritsuki Kakuyama gets his ass yeeted by truck into the isekai world right after landing his dream university. My guy doesn't even get the courtesy of a noble rebirth either. No lavish mansion, just a dirt poor peasant household and a head full of regrets. Truck-kun clearly had a personal vendetta against this dude. On top of that, his family is borderline useless, and the locals bully him for his black Asian hair like it's some kind of crime in this world. Thankfully, life finally throws him a bone the second a system notification pops up, making bro feel like the universe is about to start playing fair. That hope dies immediately when the system literally classifies him as a nobody with zero potential. So with his starting stats looking absolutely tragic, Ian has no choice but to grind his face off just to chip away at the family debt. Our boy figured he could maybe pull a Da Vinci and become a genius inventor, or at least become a powerful knight to flip his situation. And one day, things actually start moving when he and his sister nearly get eaten alive by a grizzly bear. The only reason they survive is because a mage shows up out of nowhere and vaporizes that fat Teletubby like it was a warm-up exercise. Ian has no idea what a mage of that caliber is doing in a backwater village like this, but this woman triggers something in the boy when she casually drops that she received a prophecy telling her to find a black-haired kid and raise him. One look at Ian and she knows he's the one. While the kid is out here internally screaming about how she one-shot a massive bear, a single thought lights up in his head. If anyone can become a mage, then maybe he can too. The kind woman confirms it, peasant background and all, and tells him he can change his fate if he trains under her. Ian does the math immediately and accepts the deal because Uno reversing his trash odds with magic is the smartest play he's got. The mage wastes no time dragging him to his first classroom, and right off the bat, Ian runs headfirst into his first real enemy. Not a monster, not a bandit, a textbook, a fat, ancient, absolutely merciless textbook called Meronius. Oh, and by the way, the mage actually went to his home, got formal permission from his parents, and even the city lord before any of this started, just to make sure there's no bureaucratic drama later. With everyone expecting big things from him, Ian commits fully. She starts the first lesson, and the system quietly begins tracking his progress as he burns through the pages. Meronius hits 27% completion, then more textbooks, more weird Harry Potter style spell names, then 99%, then full completion. Ian has now mastered the magical language and can use it fluently. 7 years pass, yes 7. That's the entire time skip. And somehow his teacher looks exactly the same as day one, which is suspicious as hell. She announces that their private sessions have officially ended and it's time for the next step. Ian's current toolkit is exactly one thing, and the magical language and the ability to manipulate it, but immediately in the next scene, we get gorgeous mountain scenery, a serene sky, and Ian falling out of it at terminal velocity screaming complaints at his master for throwing him off a cliff before properly teaching him anything. She's watching from above with the energy of someone who is thoroughly enjoying this. Bro is out here begging to be saved, pointing out that he only learned a language for 6 years and that does not automatically make him Superman. His teacher just watches with intrigue while Ian is mid-freefall questioning whether this woman is certifiably unhinged. She calmly tells him to focus on the voices around him, which makes absolutely no sense to a guy whose only current audio is wind rushing past his ears at deadly speed. But when Ian focuses hard enough, he starts hearing whispers. Strange little gossips from entities who seem genuinely impressed that a human is up here flying. Or falling. Tomato, tomato. That revelation hits different because the system immediately rewards him with a brand new skill. Air arts, letting him manipulate wind magic. Our boy's first real combat ability is basically becoming Superman, and that tracks perfectly. After that near-death warm-up session, his master continues roasting him while laughing at his sorry state. Ian fires back that she had all the fun while he suffered, but she makes a serious point about how mages in this world don't just cast spells from a book. They borrow power from nature by actually communicating with it. That voice in the wind wasn't background noise, it was the wind itself talking, and if Ian wants to get stronger, he needs to hear the voices of all the other mysteries too. Ian gets it now and locks in. She points at him with full seriousness and hands him his second mission, water arts, which means bro gets sent to drown and basically become Michael Phelps or die trying. He can barely communicate with the water, just desperately holding himself together. Next comes frost arts, which sends him straight to the middle of Antarctica to sit in a freezing cold plunge while his entire body questions every life decision that led here. His master is genuinely impressed with how fast he's absorbing all of this. Ian, on the other hand, is one failed breathing exercise away from an existential breakdown, and before he even gets a chance to recover, this psycho mage snaps her fingers and summons the flames of hell right in front of him. Our boy already knows what's coming. He literally just froze his entire lower half, and now the same woman is about to cook what remains. He begs for mercy, but the fire ignores him completely and asks instead if it can burn him. Ian's reaction is exactly what you'd expect, because the man knows he is cooked. Literally, then comes the caverns for earth arts. The final element on the checklist. The voice of the earth is surprisingly chill, rambling about some deep wisdom like a medieval Yoda. Ian doesn't understand any of it and honestly treats the confusion as a sign that he should just leave and try later. He turns to exit and the system immediately fires a notification telling him he's earned bonus skill points, 100 of them. Ian stares at the screen and decides right then that he is absolutely a cheater in this world because nobody gets free points like this. He dumps everything into earth arts without hesitation and taps the screen. It pulses blinding blue. The voice of the earth suddenly wakes up and warns him that lava is sitting directly below and one wrong move triggers an earthquake. Ian processes this information with one singular goal: get out of this cave alive and report back to his master. He conjures fire to light his way and suddenly a completely different voice shrieks in pain. Furious about the light, Ian tries to figure out which element this is, but his master never mentioned anything that hates light this much, because the only thing that truly hates light is darkness itself. And that is exactly what this mystery is. Ian freezes. Outside, his master is reviewing her schedule and realizing she has a pyromancer conference to attend. Ian comes sprinting out, announcing his success, then drops the bonus news he made contact with the darkness. His master's jaw drops because she genuinely did not see that coming. She goes quiet, which immediately worries him. Then she looks at him with full seriousness and tells him they need to descend the mountain. Ian is happy about that, except he completely misunderstood her. She means they're parting ways. She points left and tells him to head to the Chronolique for a space-time sorcerer conference because if he's destined to master space-time arts, he'll find the right teacher there. Ian is baffled because he just spent 7 years on one thing, and this woman is casually tossing him at a completely new discipline like it's nothing. She reflects that Ian was born with a natural affinity for discovering mysteries, and her gut says he'll master space-time too. She tells him to meet her in Dronheim in 3 years, and just like that, their apprenticeship is done. Ian heads to the rural town she described, still internally roasting her for being completely unpredictable. He spots a travel guide near the crowd heading north and remembers his master saying the conference is up there. He links up with a merchant camp for the journey and by nightfall finds himself sitting around a fire with strangers. One of those strangers is the merchant guildmaster, Leek, who asks if it's Ian's first time heading north. Ian confirms he's only going because something came up. Leek hears this and immediately brings up Dragon Mountain, warning him that the northern route is crawling with gorgeous but absolutely deadly black drakes. Then he gets buddy-buddy with Ian and asks if he at least knows how to fight or run. Ian isn't loving this dude's vibe, but admits he's not really confident in either. That answer flips a switch in Leek immediately. The man calls our boy useless and demands to know what he even does for a living. Ian, with full shame, admits he's a mage. Leek shakes, like full body, genuine shock, and calls him Lord Mage. A cloaked girl nearby catches this exchange and turns around to see what's happening. The other men around the fire are equally stunned, some of them doubting hard and whispering that this skinny black-haired kid doesn't look like any kind of mage. Haters are hating. Ian pays them zero mind. The girl from earlier sidles up and whispers that if he wants these mercenaries to stop treating him like a fraud, he should cast a spell and shut them up. Ian doesn't really get the point. She explains that mercenaries are wired to mock quiet people and treat silence as weakness. The only language they respect is power. If Ian can show them something real, they'll fall in line automatically and become his backup on this dangerous road. Ian understands the logic, but has zero experience getting visibly angry at people. While this whole conversation plays out, the food server next to them spits into Ian's bowl and covers it with a leaf like nothing happened. Ian sees it, the ground literally trembles. He stands up, walks over, and gets right in this guy's face, asking how dare he spit in someone's food. The server wets his pants and apologizes immediately, claiming he was just polishing the plate. Ian's fury increases because this man's idea of polishing a plate is to spit on it. The server doubles down and explains that water is actually dirty, full of mud and parasites, and that his spit is technically cleaner. This single sentence traumatizes Ian on a cellular level. Our boy is completely frozen, staring at the medieval barbarians around him, who have no concept of hygiene whatsoever. In cold silence, he mutters a spell, and the nearby campfire erupts into a column of flames taller than everyone standing there. He orders someone to fetch water and calls the lot of them dirty medieval bastards. Two guys sprint away immediately without even understanding what they did wrong. Later that night, everything seems calm until one mercenary mercenary can't find the girl named Kathy and starts creeping around looking for her. He spots her in the distance but quickly realizes she's knocked out cold, grabbed by a group of bandits. The mercenaries roar. One of them gets an arrow through the chest immediately, killing the bravado. Their rage kicks in and they charge. The bandit leader treats them like insects. But then Kathy wakes up mid-kidnapping and starts biting the absolute life out of the leader's back. He dumps her because he cannot risk losing the arm to what is apparently Goku's secret biting technique. She scrambles to run as the leader commands his men to chase. Meanwhile, Ian is in his tent getting haunted by the spit moment in his sleep when the commotion outside jolts him awake. A mysterious voice tells him to get up fast. He senses the aura of the area before he even hears the mercenaries. Leek reaches him first, panicking that they're in serious trouble. Ian arrives at the battle zone where the bandit leader is slicing mercenaries like a cooking demo. He wants every last one of them cut down, and then Kathy found the girl in question is hiding behind a tree nearby, shrinking into nothing because at the current rate she's going to get found in seconds. And sure enough, one guy comes right to her, blade in her face, threatening to chop her arm off if she doesn't stand up. Kathy sulks in full horror, knowing her life is over. Then something hits the guy with enough force that the ground ruptures under the impact. Ian arrived, he grabs her hand and tells her to stay close. His confidence does the heavy lifting immediately. The whole group lines up behind the Lord Mage in a train formation, which looks absolutely ridiculous but is completely intentional. Ian chants something that sounds like Sukuna's furnace technique, but instead of fire, he pulls darkness and lightning together into one concentrated sphere. The whole region goes pitch black. Torches do basically nothing. The bandits start bumping into each other like the power window. Ian leads his train through the darkness using shadow arts and dark vision while the bandits are effectively helpless. It's going smoothly until one assailant bumps into Leek and raises his sword in the chaos. Leek is begging for his life while Ian swoops in and hits the guy with his fireburn incantation, the same spell he used to light a torch earlier. Except this time, the man's face gets engulfed and he goes down as burnt steak. The remaining bandits want to run, but their leader refuses to let them retreat. Then, before Ian can even feel confident about the situation, a black drake shows up and chomps the bandit leader's head clean off. Gruesome. The beast stares at the remaining humans with a predator's curiosity while chewing. The bandits scatter, but Ian's party isn't doing much better because now there's a primordial flesh-eating monster where the bandit problem used to be. Leek stutters and points. Ian understands immediately that this drake is in a completely different weight class from anything he's faced. The system conveniently fires a new notification, and summoning skill unlocked, allowing Ian to communicate with and summon other life forms. Our boy stares at the drake dripping blood and makes a decision. He's going to try talking to it. Leek and the others fully believe they're about to die. The drake growls to intimidate him. Ian holds his ground and introduces himself as a friend of the drake in the corniest way possible, basically pulling talk no jutsu out of nowhere. Even the drake looks confused. Ian mentally holds up a sign explaining that friends don't fight each other, seemingly forgetting this thing just ate a man 30 seconds ago. The drake growls back and not even Ian understands what it's saying. He's just as lost as everyone else, so he dumps all his remaining points into summoning stats to unlock the translation. After the upgrade, the drake's language opens up and Ian calls out to him again. The beast immediately roars back that he's wasting his time. Ian holds it together, explains he has no intention of fighting, and plays directly into the drake's arrogance, telling him it would obviously be pointless for weak humans to attack a creature this powerful. The prideful beast takes this as them begging for mercy. The negotiation seems to be working. Then the drake announces he's in a terrible mood and has no plans of letting them go. Ian's whole party drops to their knees. Our boy internally screams before pivoting completely and asking the drake why he's in such a bad mood. The drake explodes that he has no reason to tell a human that. Ian offers to help. The beast calls this pointless. Ian responds by casting water magic to spiral upward and sprinkle around him in a display of pure mystery communication. The drake goes silent with genuine intrigue. Ian drops the ego act entirely, telling the beast he's just a mage trying to connect with the mysteries of the world and that he only wants to help.